Cowboy football is coming off an emotional win over the Baylor Bears in Waco. Cowgirl Softball is deep into their fall ball schedule, and Cowgirl Soccer is using a new formation. All of this and more this week on the Poke Report. Hi everyone, and welcome to week 2 of the Poke Report. I'm Alex Dusky.
And I'm Asa Lucas. We have a great show for you this week.
You know, Asa, last week it was great to be in Waco covering the Cowboys-Bears game, but it is not as great as being back on OSU's campus in front of Boone Pickens Stadium with you.
I mean, speaking of things that are great like Boone Pickens Stadium, I have the opportunity to work with the one and only Alex Dusky.
Asa, you flatter me, you flatter me. We have a lot of OSU athletics to talk about, so let's get right into it. We have to start off our show today by recapping last week's big win over the Baylor Bears. Now Weber has a scoop.
Baylor and Oklahoma State continues to be one of the biggest rivalries in the Big 12. But this result turned out a little different than the last time the Pokes battled it out with the Bears in Arlington for the Big 12 championship. OSU opened conference play on Saturday afternoon as they traveled to Waco to play the Baylor Bears. OSU starts with a big drive that was capped off by a beautiful throw from Spencer Sanders to Bryson Green, his third touchdown of the year. OSU leads 7-3. Later in the first quarter, OSU has Baylor pinned back on their 2-yard line and sends the house. They get the safety. Cowboys now lead 9-3. Skipping ahead to the start of the second half, OSU kick returner Jaden Nixon shows off his speed down the middle of the field, breaks a tackle, and takes it all the way back 98 yards for an OSU touchdown. Pokes now lead 23-3. But here comes Baylor. 6 plays later, Baylor quarterback Blake Shapen connects with Monterey Baldwin for a 49-yard touchdown. Baylor trails 23-10. After a Spencer Sanders interception puts them in excellent field position, Richard Reese scores a 1-yard touchdown to cut the OSU lead to just 6 points. Pokes lead 23-17. Moving ahead to the fourth quarter and look at this OSU defense. Safety Thomas Harper intercepts Shapen and he returns it all the way back to the Baylor 33-yard line. Then OSU caps that drive off with a 26-yard field goal to give the Pokes a 36-25 lead. The Bears weren't able to score in the fourth quarter, and OSU defeats the Bears 36-25. Harper brought in his first interception of the year on Saturday, but his goals have nothing to do with himself. Harper wants to return to Arlington.
Honestly, just continue to go undefeated. I just want to win, really.
Sanders also has big goals for the season and realizes the importance of the Pokes' 1-0 start to conference play.
We did well. The defense played great, 2 fourth-down turnovers. You can't ask for a better. And they also had 2 picks, so really that's 4 turnovers in one game. Kickoff return, Everybody just played great. I'm excited and happy for everybody, and everybody's ceiling is just getting higher and higher.
The Pokes returned to Boone Pickens Stadium on Saturday to battle the Texas Tech Red Raiders. For the Poke Report, I'm Noah Weber.
Thanks, Noah. That was a great win for the Cowboys last week. Let's hope they can bring in some of that momentum into tomorrow's game against Texas Tech Red Raiders.
So Alex, I know you were in Waco last week. What was the experience and the atmosphere there like?
Well, it did not compare to game day in Stillwater. However, it was great. I think everyone, if you have the opportunity to go to a game in Waco, should go. The Baylor fans do know how to tailgate and sailgate. It was very unique.
Sailgating?
That's where they have the boats because McLean Stadium is out on the water. You get in your boat and you tailgate on the water.
Well, that's a little bit different. I'll take my brisket at Eskimo Joe's, though, for game day.
Good choice, good choice.
So our very own Luke Santangelo tells us all about what the Baylor game day experience is like in his package.
Hello, Cowboy fans. I'm here in Waco, Texas at McLean Stadium, where the number 9 Cowboys are taking on the number 16 Baylor Bears. I'm excited to show you all the tailgate action here in Waco, Texas at McLean Stadium. All right, now, when did you first start setting up this tailgate?
So we rolled in town on Thursday. We leave most of it up. Obviously, we locked a bunch of stuff when we were there. But we came into town on Thursday, started getting ready.
Okay, how long have you been here?
We've been tailgating probably 4 years now.
Jordan, what made you travel to Waco?
I got some family here, and they asked me to come. Also, I'm a student at OSU, so I got to support. Go Pokes!
The Pokes defeated the Baylor Bears, and they remain undefeated as they are now ranked 7th in the country. Oklahoma State will face Texas Tech here at Boone Pickens Stadium this Saturday at 2:30. For the Poke Report, I'm Luke Santangelo.
Thanks, Luke, for the story. Always interesting to see what other game day atmospheres are like in the Big 12.
Speaking of the Big 12, Asa, we are now joined by our own Big 12 expert, Jace Andrews, up in the studio. I don't know about you guys, but last week had so many interesting Big 12 games. Jace, what are your thoughts?
Thanks, Alex. It was another crazy week in the Big 12 with upset wins and nail-biting games. Let's start first with our Cowboys, who traveled down to Waco to take on the Baylor Bears, looking for revenge after the Big 12 championship game. Spencer Sanders starting his game off right with an 8-yard pass to Bryson Green, who plucked the ball out of the air for the touchdown, giving the Cowboys a 7-3 lead. Following that, Kendall Daniels takes down Richard Reese in the end zone for OSU's second safety of the year and makes the score 9-3 Pokes. Coming out of halftime now, Jaden Nixon, don't blink or you'll miss it, 98 yards on the kickoff return. Cowboys now up by 20 on the Bears. Blake Shippen was not out yet though. Late in the third quarter, Monterey Baldwin pulled in a 70-yard touchdown. Bears get the 2-point conversion, making it a 1-score game heading into the fourth. The final quarter of the game was all Cowboys though, as both Thomas Harper and Jason Taylor II get interceptions, and the Cowboys remain undefeated, improving to 4-0. Baylor drops to 3-2 now, heading into their bye week. Traveling just up the road now, the Horned Frogs were also looking to keep their undefeated season alive, facing off against OU. Max Duggan, who is having an impressive season already, gives the Horned Frogs an early lead with a 19-yard pass to Savion Williams, who makes the grab while falling down. And that was just the start of TCU's day. The Horned Frogs cap off a 41-point half with a 70-yard strike from Duggan to Gunnar Henderson that put the Horned Frogs up 24 heading into the half. TCU ended up winning this one 55-24, sending the Sooners to 0-2 in the Big 12 for the second time in 3 years. Moving on to the football powerhouse that is Lawrence, Kansas, Jalen Daniels and the Jayhawks taking on Matt Campbell's Cyclones. Not a lot of offense in this matchup, but both Daniel Hinshaw Jr. and Daniels score rushing touchdowns in the second quarter to give Kansas a 2-touchdown lead. The Cyclones score right before the half with Hunter Deckers finding Easton Dean, as well as converting a 2-point conversion to make it 14-8 going into the half. Skipping ahead now to the fourth quarter, 27 seconds to go. Jace Gilbert, a chance to tie the game with a 37-yard field goal, but it's wide left, and Kansas now improves to 5-0. I think it's clear to say that I'm the better Jace in this matchup, but I digress. Taking a look at the standings in the Big 12, we have Kansas and Kansas State at the top. Has anyone ever seen that before? Not me. Oklahoma State just behind them at 1-0 in the conference and 4-0 overall. Now, this is where we get into some interesting standings. TCU above Baylor. The Horned Frogs are headed to Lawrence this weekend, and Baylor on a bye, followed by Texas Tech and Texas. 3 schools round out the bottom at 0-2. We've got Iowa State, OU, and West Virginia in last place. My key matchups this week. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Kansas versus TCU. It's the only ranked-on-ranked matchup this week in the Big 12. Can you believe it? It's Red River Rivalry Week as well. Unranked OU and Texas facing off each other. Of course, our Cowboys taking on the Red Raiders at home has to be a key matchup as well. My predictions for these games, I've got TCU taking down the Jayhawks, Texas getting back the win and defeating OU, and of course, our Cowboys are going to come out on top. OSU 37, Texas Tech 24. That's it for me, Alex and Asa. Back to you guys for your picks.
All right, thank you, Jace. I agree. The Big 12 has been pretty unpredictable this season, but we're going to do our best to make some predictions. We're going to start off with TCU at Kansas in Lawrence. College game day is there for the very first time. Who you got?
Well, Alex, I don't know if you knew this about me, but previous years in the Poke Report, I've been the Big 12 expert, so I'm very good at these predictions. I have no fear about what I'm going to say. Jayhawks are taking this first one.
I have the Jayhawks winning as well, and we have to remember there's a lot on the line. If they win this game, they are 6-0. They are bowl eligible for the first time since 2009.
That is a crazy statistic. Do you even remember what you were doing in 2009?
I had just moved to Nebraska, so living life in Kearney.
And I just moved to Stillwater.
Wow, big year for us.
Absolutely.
And the Jayhawks. The next matchup is the Red River rivalry game played in Dallas between an unranked OU and Texas. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, even though Quinn Ewers is back and Texas almost beat Alabama, I got to go with Oklahoma. They just have so much to lose going 0-3 in the Big 12 to start things off. There's no way Brent Venables is going to let that happen.
See, I kind of think they've already lost everything. I think Texas has more to win, and I have the Longhorns coming out on top.
Interesting.
So our last pick, like Jace, OSU versus Texas Tech right here in Boone Pickens Stadium tomorrow at 2:30. What is who's winning and the score?
All right, Oklahoma State's going to win this one. We're going to continue to stay undefeated. Big reason why that is that when those tortillas come down in Lubbock, that really starts to mess with players and coaches, and the fans can get very rowdy down there. So I'm going to go Oklahoma State 38, Texas Tech 24.
You know, maybe Boone Pickens should put a no tortilla sign outside the stadium. I have the Cowboys winning. Pretty simple score, 35-28, 5 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns, but a good win for the Cowboys nonetheless.
Absolutely.
We'll have to see who is right after tomorrow's games.
We will, and hopefully there can be some sort of trophy, or maybe the winner takes the loser out, maybe vice versa. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll arrange something by the end of the season. We are going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll have more into all of OSU Athletics. Don't go away.
I want to show you something. This is the money we could save by switching from fresh packed California crushed tomatoes to concentrated tomato paste.
I want to show you something too. I got a new door. Go take a look at it.
Nobody uses better ingredients than Little Caesars, like fresh-packed California crushed tomatoes. Pick up a large, deep dish for just $8.
Pizza.
Introducing Lincoln Black Label at Diffie Ford Lincoln. Designed to impress those with impeccable taste, Lincoln Black Label features a collection of interior themes and a host of exclusive membership privileges inspired by attention to detail and a love of automobiles. With Lincoln Black Label, you'll enjoy an extended premium maintenance plan that covers wear items or even remote vehicle delivery. Lincoln Black Label isn't about luxury ownership, it's about membership. Lincoln Black Label, exclusively at Diffie Ford Lincoln.
At ASAP Energy, our goal is to provide the best customer service for whatever our clients need.
My relationship with ASAP Energy came about in 2007. I was wanting to build a convenience store. I didn't know how to do it. I had never been in the business. I just felt comfortable with Rick. And so I knew that I wanted to do business with a guy like that. Integrity, loyalty, and family. I would recommend that to anybody. Thanks for taking a chance on me.
At ASAP Energy, everything matters.
Where were you born? It's a question asked all the time. Because where you're from shapes who you are, inspires how you do things. And when that inspiration comes from a place this refreshing, this majestic, this... well, you get the idea. Coors Light, born in the Rockies.
And welcome back to the Poke Report.
We are now here at Cowgirl Stadium, the home of our OSU Cowgirl Softball team, who I'd say has been doing pretty well recently.
Well, if you want to consider the 3-year streak of consecutive World Series appearances, Alex, you'd be right.
And Asa, you can't forget about their performance in the Big 12 tournament this past spring, where the Cowgirls were all around the best team in offense, defense, and pitching, led by Kelly Maxwell and her 313 strikeouts last season.
It's no secret about Maxwell's dominance. This summer, she spent her time learning how to improve her game. Our own Connor Bergen has the latest.
From playing from coast to coast, Cowgirl pitcher Kelly Maxwell has seen it all here at OSU. While being a leading force for a dominant Cowgirl squad, nothing quite prepared Maxwell for her latest chapter on the circle. Her first time being out of the country
to play for Team USA in Japan. Upon her arrival, it wasn't an easy transition for the 2021 Big 12 GOAT Pitcher of the Year. One hurdle that had to be cleared early on was learning to adapt to a new pitch caller.
When you're at USA, there's no John to help you call your pitches. It's you and the catcher. So Kinsey Hansen from OU caught all my innings that I was there, and we were able to get on the same page and get a plan. And it's very different learning to pitch to them than it is college. So it was definitely a learning experience. It was awesome.
While Maxwell continues to play in a new country on a new team with different rules, head coach Kenny Gajewski says that this opportunity is vital for once Maxwell graduates from OSU.
So you see some things that are done a little different way. It's kind of almost when you're playing in the national team, it's like being a pro because you practice a lot. They're long days, and then you play, and then you may practice after. I mean, they don't have any rules like we've got.
Despite the obstacles for Maxwell, one thing she says she'll never forget was the atmosphere and love of the game from all the fans from Japan.
It's awesome. I mean, being able to play in front of that crowd, and they're all so welcoming, and they love softball, so it was pretty cool. Made it feel like home.
While Maxwell returns to Stillwater for her final season at OSU, the newest challenge she gets to overcome is learning all 14 of the newest Cowgirls before the regular season begins in the spring. Reporting from Cowgirl Stadium for the Poke Report, I'm Connor Bergen.
Thanks, Connor. Cowgirls will be back for some fall ball action here at Cowgirl Stadium this Sunday, taking on the West Texas A&M Bluffs. First pitch is at 3:30 p.m.
One of the most famous athletes here on campus doesn't get her fame from her athletic performance, but rather her social media presence. Aaron Gonders has more.
On your marks, get set, TickTock. Such is the life of OSU Cowgirl sprinter and TickTock star Tori Ortiz. Juggling life as a grad student, an athlete, and a social media sensation might seem daunting, but Ortiz balances all three like a pro.
I put everything on my calendar, and with that, I know what days I need to post for what companies and what deliverables I have for the month. On top of school and all that stuff, it's pretty easy. Once you understand, you have a schedule and you're on top of your timing, it makes everything really easy.
Ortiz got her start on TikTok at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. At first, she hated TikTok, but after she posted her media day pictures before her first season as a Cowgirl, her account exploded to what is now over 560,000 followers and almost 20 million likes. Now that Ortiz is TikTok famous, having a close friend nearby is always helpful. Luckily for Ortiz, she has her teammate Charlie Bartholomew.
The days we practice together, usually at the end of practice, she'd be like, let's make a video. So I'd be like, let's make it. So yeah, either be a dance video or a little relatable post and something like that. So I'm always down to the post whenever. So
with all this talk of friends and large follower bases, some people might actually be thinking that running a successful TikTok is all fun and games. To some extent, though, they might be right, because TikTok is fun. It's so fun, in fact, that actually I got some footwork lessons from Tori, so someone like me who can't dance can properly do the gritty. Now with NIL in the mix, as of a couple years ago, there is an additional wrinkle. College athletes can now use their social media for business and not just getting followers.
Everyone's different. Sometimes it's an Instagram story, sometimes it's an Instagram post, you have to make a certain amount of TikTok, so it's neat.
So whether it's on the track or on TikTok, Tori Ortiz is always setting new PRs. For the Poke Report, I'm Aaron Gonders.
Thank you, Aaron. Now, Asa, I don't know about you, but I have spent plenty of time on TikTok the last couple of years or so. Do you know any trends or dances, maybe?
Alex, I'm not much of a TikTok dancer. Now, if you get me in a ballroom or do some cha-cha, that's a different story.
All right, next week's Poke Report coming live, reporting from the ballroom.
Well, we'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do. Now, let's switch over to one of Stillwater's local sports, the high school volleyball team. 2 sub-500 teams trying to finish on a good note. That's the storyline heading into Tuesday night's match. The Pioneers coming off a big-time win on Monday night in Ponca City. That momentum carries into the early going as the home team jumps out to a 1-set lead behind the serve of senior Bess Glenn. Mistakes were the invitation for Southmore to hang around, though. And with a height advantage at the net, they show dominance up front, nearly stealing the second set from the Pioneers. Missed serves by Riley Rattay, and the Lady Pioneers keep things tight into the third. but it was Kaylin Crew who takes over, sparking the late rally that propels the Pioneers to win number 12 on the year in straight sets. It'll be senior day on Thursday when the Pioneers host their final match of the season playing Mustang.
Let's take one more quick break, but don't go away. When we come back on the Poke Report, we will do a deep dive into Cowgirl Soccer and OSU basketball.
The deli department at Homeland is Oklahoma's headquarters for party trays. Enjoy the time with family and friends at your next event, and let your neighborhood Homeland create the perfect fruit, deli, or cheese tray for you. The party planners at Homeland will help you choose the perfect party food, sized just right for your guests. Call us, stop in, or order online, and we'll make it ready for pickup on your schedule. Make your next party special with a party tray from your neighborhood Homeland.
Good to be home, Homeland.
Love these things. Hilarious. I'm sorry, force of habit.
As long as you are you, it's Miller time.
Hi, it's Sam at Louis Grill and Bar, here to introduce our new menu items from south of the border. Come try our new poblano chicken tacos, or the ever-popular sriracha shrimp tacos. At Louis, where you come for the food, but stay for the fun.
It's hard to imagine my life before her, or a day without her. So much of what I take for granted simply wouldn't exist. She is the force that holds our life together. She is my everything, the center of my universe, from Forevermark. The diamond, the promise. Available at Lewis Jewelers.
I'm Randy Heights with 1077 The Franchise, and let me tell you about the HCG diet from New Leaf Wellness and what it's meant to me. Over the last year, I've dropped 90 pounds, and this has been a lifesaver, guys. I'm in a wheelchair, so I can't always get to the gym, and what's been incredible about this diet, when I can't work out, I still lose the weight. 90 pounds in a year is a lot for anyone, but for me, it's been a miracle. Why don't you give New Leaf Wellness Centers a call and see if they can't help you with a free consultation, or go online at newleafcenters.com.
Welcome back to the Poke Report. We are now here outside one of the best soccer facilities in the nation, Neal Patterson Stadium.
Complex that was opened up in 1996 and is home to over 2,500 Cowboy and Cowgirl soccer fans, faithful who get wild for that orange and black.
Asa, have you been one of those wild fans this season?
Actually, I have. So last Thursday, I got to watch the Cowgirls take on the Texas Tech Red Raiders. So I'm going to give us a brief recap over how that match went and also what happened against K-State.
The Cowgirl soccer team remains electric after consecutive close games. After a 1-0 win on the road against K-State, the 9-1-1 Cowgirls were back home, taking on the Lady Red Raiders in what would turn out to be an emotional nail-biter. In the 6th-minute, Red Raider defender Elise Anderson notched a long-range shot on Big 12 goalkeeper of the week Jordan Knights to put the Raiders up 1-0. Then, 12 minutes later, Big 12 Defensive Player of the Week Molly Briner hustled in the box to score a goal and even things up at 1 apiece. A yellow card was presented to Red Raiders head coach Tom Stone for leaving the sideline boundary. Both teams would exchange shots in the second half, trying to squeeze out a lead. In the 90th minute, a free kick from Ishkaret Pineda nearly connected for a goal, but it wasn't enough. Both teams would leave the match with a draw and an appreciation for the battle. Head coach Colin Carmichael shared his thoughts on what a draw from tonight's match meant.
I
and they had held on, you feel like, oh my gosh, that's kind of a loss. I don't think either team can say that. I think both teams hit the post, both teams had some good opportunities, both keepers had to make some plays. So yeah, I just thought it was a hard-fought contest. I mean, I don't like ties, but it's hard not to accept this tie because I thought both teams were deserving of it.
Then Grace Yoakum discussed how tough the Big 12 is.
But no, I don't think we lost any momentum. I think this is just how Big 12 play is. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some, you're going to tie some. It's how do you bounce back from that, and that's what we got to figure out. It's going to show a lot of character of this team for sure.
The Cowgirls' next match is on the road for Bedlam in Norman, taking on the 7-3-2 Sooners, who are coming off a loss against Texas Tech.
The Cowgirls are about halfway through the season, so don't forget to come out to Neal Patterson Stadium to cheer them and Coach Carmichael on.
I definitely need to get out here and see the Cowgirls before the season's over, especially Grace Yoakum, who now holds the program record for most goals scored here at OSU.
Hey, Olivia Dell has 7 goals on the season, so don't forget about her.
We can't. There's a lot of Cowgirls making some big plays this season. It's obvious the Cowgirls have a key offensive attack this season, but how exactly are they doing that? Our own Rowdy Barbo has the answer.
The OSU Cowgirl Soccer team is hitting on all cylinders this year with a 9-1-2 overall record, in large part because of their offense. But even their offensive success can be attributed to one minor tweak in their formation. Instead of the 3-4-3 formation the Cowgirls rolled with at the beginning of the season, they're now going with a 3-5-2 formation. Head coach Colin Carmichael says the formation provides more help up front and lets the girls see the field clearer.
I think a couple of things. One is it gives a partner for Liv up front. So now if we're clearing the ball or if we're going a little bit more direct, we're not relying on one player up there to keep it for us. We now have Gracie B and Liv starting higher, so that's nice. Allows us to put a little more pressure on their center backs. When you have 2 up there, they now have decisions to make.
Since the Cowgirls switched to the 3-5-2, they're scoring 2.4 goals per game as opposed to the 1.6 goals per game they scored during the first half of the season. Cowgirl Soccer's new scoring queen Grace Yoakum has been instrumental in the offensive success this season. She prefers the 3-4-3, but she likes the success the team is having with the current formation.
Yeah, having another forward up there obviously helps just with our attack. I personally like playing with 4 in the midfield because I'm a midfielder, so that just is more help on our side. But in the end, I think it was the best thing the team needed. And, playing, especially next to someone like Naya, she's just so consistent and she is so tough. So she allows me to go forward and helping the attack because I can trust her to hold that.
While the offense is getting clicking during the latter half of the season, the defense has been on a roll all season. Allie Jackson is one of the primary defenders for the Cowgirls, and she feels like the formation has only strengthened the defense this year.
So I think that it kind of balanced our team a lot because just personally what I'm good at is just regulating kind of everyone back there. And I feel like, ever since then we've kind of done really well in the back and not given up much goals.
The Cowgirls offense playing as well as its defense, they look to be in good shape now that conference play is underway. For the Poke Report, I'm Rowdy Barbo.
Thank you, Rowdy. It's hard to change your strategy and find success with it, but I'll say I think the Cowgirls are doing a great job this season.
So Alex, now it's time to change it here from the pitch to the basketball court at Gallagher-Iba Arena, where our basketball analyst Tony Wetmore has some interesting updates on the season. Tony, to you.
Thanks, guys. I'm out here in historic Gallagher-Iba Arena, where we are less than a month from tip-off for both our men's and women's basketball teams. Both teams have a lot of new faces this year, including women's basketball head coach JC Hoyt, who looks to lead her Cowgirls to success in her first season in Stillwater. The Cowgirls will start their season up against the Northeastern State Riverhawks on November 1st, and the Cowboys will begin by taking on the Washita Baptist Tigers on November 3rd, both in Gallagher-Iba Arena. If you want to keep up with what sports media students are saying about the teams, follow the hashtag SPM3863 on Twitter for their takes. Back to you, Alex and Asa.
Hey, thank you very much, Tony. So, Alex, you're in that class. What are your predictions for the 2022-2023 season?
So while we couldn't see the Cowboys in tournament action last year, I'm expecting at least a Sweet 16 run from our Cowboys. And the game I have my eye on is the Kansas Jayhawks game in Lawrence. Now that the Jayhawks are so good at football, will they be able to do it again in basketball?
It's a weird thing to hear. Normally you flip it with basketball when it comes to Kansas, but hey, who knows? I think Oklahoma State basketball is going to play angry. Nobody likes to get suspended, especially our Cowboys.
Exactly, and we will have all of the football, basketball, and more coverage for you all semester on the Poke Report. That's all we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Alex Dusky.
And I'm Asa Lucas, and hey, don't forget,
Go Pokes!